learned the trick to like any good live set is just make like a face like you know what you're doing, no matter how it's going. Like just flip something on and it's like broken. It's like, and you're just like, I was gonna do that, you know.
I should try that with the podcast.
Oh, totally.
Start making faces. This is going real well.
Dude, exude confidence.
That's it, man. Fake it till you make it.
It's not the. I was gonna make some kind of millennial joke, but I actually feel like that's like an older guy's thing.
Do it.
I feel like I learned that from like people in their 40s.
Yeah.
And got that concept of like, if your face looks like it's good, then it's probably good.
Yeah.
Even though it's probably garbage.
I mean, don't shy away from making fun of the title of the show or the millennial angle.
The title of the show.
It's literally Ryan with the millennials.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what I thought. I knew it was something like that, but I got confused. But.
Yeah. Well, like I wake up in the middle of the night wondering if I should change it too, because it's just too late. It's too late now. You just gotta work with what you got.
I'm a fan of once it's out, it's just out.
That's it. Yeah.
Like renaming like a project or an idea midway through.
Yeah. That's annoying. That's a show.
Well, because then it just voids everything you did before.
Yeah.
I mean, depending on the amount of history.
Right.
If you've done like 2 podcasts with one name, what's the fucking point once you change it? Like just delete those 2 then, because you've just like voided the whole history.
It negates all the work that you've done up until then. And it also, I think, like when you change the title of something in the middle of doing it, you're showing a sign of.
It's a weird weakness.
It's a lack of confidence.
Well, that
and
like
a weakness.
I mean, I feel like this applies more in like a musical sense than like podcasts. But like, I've always hated the name Breakdancing Ronald Reagan. I came up with that at 14.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it sucks. It's terrible.
You know, it's weird when we were messaging. You know, when all 4 of us were messaging each other, I was wondering. I'm like, should I address him by that, or should I even bring it up? Yeah, no.
I mean, I still use that, but I mean, the only reason I don't change it is like, what? Someone's going to bill me as like, I don't know, what would my new thing be called? You know, it would be like Johnny and the blah, blah, blahs, and in parentheses, X Breakdancing Ronald Reagan. I've been at it for like 12, 13 years now. It's too late.
I'd like to say that I do like Johnny and the blah, blah, blahs. And in parentheses, X Breakdancing Ronald Reagan.
That's included in the name.
That
so
long
no one
tail.
Forgets.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, when your name's Jonathan Cash, you're just kind of fucked.
Well,
like, whatever project you do is going to fall under this hub of that's that Johnny Cash guy.
Right.
His name's Johnny Cash. So it's like, what am I going to do?
Well, and I know.
I'm try to change my alias, and people are just be like, you're that guy who did that other thing back in the day.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. You can only get away with so much
before.
Just
be that thing that I started at.
So Jonathan, so that is your real name?
Yes.
Okay.
I could show you my ID if you.
No, I was actually going to ask, but
I've had that happen before.
I mean, it's Jonathan Cash on Facebook, and that led me to believe, like, no, maybe that's actually his real name.
I would rather it be Johnny Cash on Facebook, but I got on there when it was just barely post the school only thing.
Oh, okay.
And it felt very official, and I was like, I'm supposed to put my whole name, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And now everyone's got all their like cool preferred names, and I'm like, oh, dude, no one calls me Jonathan.
Yeah,
but it's there.
Didn't when your parents named you, surely they knew?
Yeah. Well, I'm named after like my birth father, who I've never actually met, but
okay.
It's like a weird thing. There's a bunch of like death in my name. And like weird loss and shit. I don't know.
Yeah.
Named after my like birth father I've never met.
So you never met him because he passed away?
No, he just fucking bolted.
He took off.
Like Cash is not his last name. That's like my mom's side.
Okay.
But my middle names are like 2 different high school, because I have 2 middle names like most good white trash have.
Sure.
And my middle names are both like dudes my mom dated in high school that like killed themselves. I'm like, cool, God. You really gave me a fresh start here, Mom.
Yeah, wow.
Like,
I mean,
I was just born into teenage suicide. No wonder I'm like a shitty alt musician.
Well, or maybe that's why you're an amazing alt musician.
Well, but it's a shitty life.
Yeah. That's like, I was listening to, I don't know if you're a Springsteen guy, but...
Actually, yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
He was giving an interview, and he said that, great musicians or great rock stars or whoever, they're not born from, comfortable circumstances.
They're born in the USA.
They're born in the USA. That's right. He said that right after. You heard that interview too. That's so funny.
Yeah, I mean, huge fan.
Yeah. Anything for a plug, that Springsteen, huh?
Yeah. It's just anytime we can bring him up during the show, it keeps me in my comfort zone. So,
yeah.
That's my point of reference for all things.
Was he the first? He was the first rock star to resonate with you, or?
No.
No, just one of many.
My mom was like a 80s hair metal like like radio slut.
Yeah,
that was her.
I was
her
going to
job,
say
basically.
I could see that, except for the slut part. I don't know your mom, but
I mean, I don't know either. She definitely hinted at like some kind of Bon Jovi oriented like bang sesh that I didn't even know about. I've always wondered if my birth father that I've never met doesn't exist because it's like Richie Sambora from Bon Jovi, but she doesn't want me to know.
Right.
She's just, really subtly dropping so many hints.
I'm seeing a resemblance to Richie Sambora.
She told me that my birth father's name is John Cook, and even as a kid, I always had this like, did you just make that up?
Yeah.
Like you just pick the first two like name things. Like let me white guy, John Cook. Yeah, his name's John Cook.
Or like she was sitting at a restaurant and she was like looking around the room and it was like John Cook. There you go.
So they called him Chef.
Yeah,
it was his nickname. So if you ever want to go by Chef, if you need more facts about me, my mom named me this also because she wanted my name to be Nathan, and she thought Nathan could be a nickname for Jonathan, and that makes no sense.
No, Nathan is the long form for Nate.
I guess it makes sense because I mean, I know some people go by Topher, whose names are Christopher, but those people are wrong.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Topher, that sounds like a tennis playing name, right?
Well,
that sounds like a very
from that 70s show.
That 70s show, but it always seems like a very well-to-do white guy name, right?
I hate it.
Have you ever met like a poor Topher?
Well, this one.
Oh, there you go.
I would say I don't think of it as a wealthy white guy name. I think of it as like a child name. It's like you go by Topher when you're like 12,
right?
And you grow up,
and then you're Christopher.
Yeah, or like Chris.
Yeah.
I think Chris is the grown-up Topher.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Then again, I've never picked up John, which seems like the grown-up version of my name. Like,
yeah. Well, maybe you don't want to grow up just yet.
I just don't like the name.
Yeah.
I like John.
John it's very stern. It's very serious.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah,
I used to be called Big John by this guy I worked with at Walmart when I was a teen, and I was like, not only am I not that tall, I'm also not short enough to get like the tiny kind of whatever name. I'm not fat enough or skinny enough. Like I'm so neutrally built.
Yeah,
that calling me Big John is just dumb. I used to hate that. It's like there's no sense of irony or like celebrating my obesity because I'm only like 220.
Also, what are you, like a fucking lumberjack short order cook? Like that's what a Big John is.
It's like, I work in the frozen section. I don't need a cool nickname. I stock ice cream for a living. Yeah. And I'm 17. I don't need to be called Big John.
Yeah. Talk about a complex.
Call me like John.
Were there other Johns at the Walmart that you worked with?
I don't know.
Okay.
You ever worked for a Walmart? You don't know anyone there. It's sick.
Not only
you're like a number. You're like a statistic.
Not only have I never worked for a Walmart, I'd never even set foot in one until I moved to Austin because they don't have them in New York.
Oh, I just this past July went on tour with a friend from New York and took him to his first Walmart. He's like 35 and he had never been.
I'm 37. I
assume your reaction was the same, which was like, yeah, it's all right.
I mean, it was all right, but you hear about these Walmarts and you see, like Walmart customer memes online and stuff, and you start to form a narrative or an image of what they are in your mind. And when I went, I mean, it wasn't as outrageous as I thought it would be.
I feel like if you're from New York, you can see enough like outrageous street life without going to a Walmart. Walmart, like, the people of Walmart.com bullshit, that's only exciting if you live in like suburbs and you see no people.
Right, yeah.
Because the fact is most Americans are pretty nasty looking.
Yeah.
It's not that hard to see a morbidly obese old woman that's like poorly dressed.
No, I guess not.
It's really not a rarity.
Maybe not in the Walmarts, but in New York, I mean, it's not as commonplace. I mean, we have our trash, but it's a different
more
brand.
commonplace than in the little like the burb areas, where you just have no one on the streets.
Yeah,
that's a weird life. Walmart, though, all statistical. You don't know any of your employees. I mean, maybe you know who's in like your department, but even then,
So you don't work with the same people.
I mean, you kind of do, but they're all kind of doing their own thing. I'll put it this way: last time I worked there, I knew I was going to quit because I was about to move out of Houston, where I grew up, and I was going to move to, New Braunfels to live with some family, and eventually led to here and all that. But I was going to move, and I knew they weren't going to transfer me because I'd already put in a request, and they said that one wasn't hiring. So I was like, no matter what, I'm quitting.
Yeah.
And it dawned on me, all my job and most like sales floor people, there's jobs are as long as you're not cashier, no one's really watching you.
Right.
Occasionally, maybe like a truck needs to be unloaded, but for the most part, you're just putting things on the shelves. And if there's no room left, put it back in storage, grab another box, try to put it on the shelf, et cetera, et cetera. And I was like, couldn't I just leave?
Yeah.
Like, would they know? Because I definitely
You mean leave the grounds?
Yeah.
Like go watch a movie or something.
Well, I lived like a mile away.
Yeah.
And at first I just got a little brave, which was like I would go take a smoke break that would last like an hour.
Yeah.
And no one would say anything. And then I would just like, maybe go to the bathroom for like an hour and play around on my phone. No one said anything. And then eventually I was just like, what if I just like leave?
Yeah.
What if I just go home? And I would walk all the way there, like a mile away, clock in, walk back home.
Yeah.
And at like noon, walk back to clock out for lunch, stand there outside for about 30 minutes for lunch, clock back in from lunch, go home.
No one said anything.
No, not only that, but I pulled in like 100 hours a week. I pulled in like insane overtime and no one ever, they just gave me a check. I mean, there's no like human interaction really.
That's amazing.
I mean, when I quit, because I had to walk in eventually to like quit, I could have just no call, no showed, but I wanted to leave like the tiniest little window to get back in.
Yeah, you don't want to burn the entire Walmart
I probably
bridge.
did. Because the whole stealing money for nothing thing.
Yeah.
But
well, if you hadn't, you have now.
Aside from that, I was like, I should at least be like, hey, I wish I didn't have to do this, but I have to quit. My family's moving, which was a lie, whatever. But, I was moving. And I told him, and he was just like, as a manager, I swear I'd seen like 100 times. He was like, all right, what's your name?
You're like, it's me, Big John. What the fuck?
It's Big John.
Yeah, what the hell? Don't you know me by now?
The most ironically large man in Walmart.
That's like your name tag the next day. The most ironically large man. Those retail jobs are brutal. I similarly before I got the gig I'm in now, and now I'm part of the corporate office culture, which I still have no idea.
I just thought you lived off the podcast.
No, yeah, totally. I live off in all the revenue from this. But no, I was working at a Trader Joe's in New York, and then I transferred to the one here.
That's probably way better than Walmart. It's
a little better, but it's an extremely small staff, at least the one here.
Well, actually, that sounds way worse, because you can't just disappear.
I did. Like, I pulled what you pulled, not to that level.
Yeah.
I left on good terms with them.
You definitely can in most retail jobs, because your job on the sales floor is just to like chit chat with customers that need help and like keep an eye on things.
Yeah. So. Oh, and the managers know, like they're aware of what the position is. Like they're not expecting you to solve algebra problems.
Yeah, exactly.
Just, here's a box of shit. Yeah, put it up on the shelves and be nice to people. Yep. I think even the customers, I would hope that they're aware that when you walk into these stores, the workers don't want to be there. I mean, no matter how nice they're coming on to you.
Well, that's why I don't like when you go to a place that has a really good waiter.
Yeah.
I feel like bad service is better.
Because it's real?
Well, yeah. Because good service is
honest.
like... I remember I used to go to... Because I used to live over by that place, Hillside Pharmacy or whatever.
Yeah.
And I used to go there a lot. And the row of seating, like, you can kind of sit facing... Well, you're supposed to have someone there with you, but I would just eat there alone because I literally lived around the corner.
Wait, it's called Hillside Pharmacy? It's a restaurant?
Yeah. It's off like East 11th. It's one of those, like, they got to come tell you where they've locally sourced all their bullshit you're about to eat.
Yeah.
And I would just sit in this way where I was at an angle to this mirror that would show what's behind me.
Yeah.
And I would have my order ready so as soon as the waiter walked up, I could just start ordering.
Yeah.
And just like really try to cut him off at the pass before he's like, yeah, our special day. He's like, no, I know what I want. You don't have to talk to me.
Was he appreciative of that, or was it just like,
I think he was just mystified.
Yeah. He was
I get that a lot at restaurants because I really try to not communicate as much as possible. I'm just like, this one here on the menu, just these letters I'm pointing to, just bring them to me, and unless I specify anything extra, just do that. If anything, surprise me.
Yeah, I feel like the servers, I feel like they appreciate that a lot more.
They probably do, but they also have like, I could say, you ever heard of that place 24 Diner?
Yeah, sure.
Their managers suck and are like those kinds that really want their servers to do a good job.
Yeah.
Every time a server like asks me how my food is, there's like a manager who follows through behind her. And it's like, how's everything going today? And it's like, dude, I just answered that question. But
I'm eating it, aren't I?
They're like mystified when I don't want to interact and I don't want good service. I just want like food brought to me. You don't have to be nice. You don't have to sugarcoat it. I don't want to know where you got your cheese plate from. Like it's cheese on a plate, so you've gotten it right. I don't need to know which farm it came from or whatever. But they look horrified because they're like, but I'm supposed to like,
I have a job here.
I'm supposed to like talk to you. The manager's watching. It's like, sorry, I'm more happy if you don't. So
you're not really a complicated guy in that regard. you know what you like.
I guess overcomplicated, depending on how you look at it.
Well, what's overcomplicated?
I'm definitely making more. My goal is to have less happen in that situation, but by going out of my way to make less happen, I'm definitely causing more tension and confusion.
Well, I don't know.
So that's maybe not
pretty
complicated,
or maybe not tension, but
there's a fine line, though. I can admit I set a unfair precedent for them, because I'm like, I don't want like you to be an asshole to me, but if you're too nice,
right,
I'm gonna be pissed.
Well, if anything,
you need to be as neutral and like feelingless as possible,
right?
Because also, if you're a dick, I'm still gonna be pissed. But if you're like, "Oh, how's it going today?" I'm like, "Dude, get away from me."
Yeah, you immediately put the walls up.
Yeah,
and you make it so that they have to clear them.
To talk about walls. Yeah. In this day and age.
My bad. Yeah, in Trump's America, I know wall is a 4-letter word, but I don't say. I don't think that it's something that's unappreciated. If anything, they go back to the kitchen. They're like, "Yeah, I got this guy at my table. He just fucking sat down, said what he wants."
I tip all right. I don't like to talk. I usually don't. I have way too much anxiety to specify what I actually want on my order. I'm more willing to just buy garbage. And like settle.
You get a lot of anxiety in like social situations.
Totally.
Yeah, me too.
Anxiety's key. I definitely firm believer. As a person with massive anxiety, that if everyone had like extreme crippling like anxiety, the world would be like pretty sick.
Yeah, well,
it'd be good. It would be like tight if everyone woke up and like everything they did started with like 10 minutes of like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like if someone took, I don't know. If the president had anxiety, I wouldn't even care what they did.
Yeah, well,
as long as I know they felt bad about it.
Yeah, I mean, he's beyond anxiety, but
exactly. But that's the problem. I don't care who we're at war with. I just want him to feel like maybe he made a mistake, even if he didn't.
Fat chance.
Just want him to feel bad.
Never gonna happen.
I mean, I can't even say I'm pro whatever Bernie, because I could tell he doesn't have any anxiety. That confidence, that masculine American confident president idea does not mesh with me. I want my president to just get on the mic and be like, "Hey, I hope you're not like mad, but I was just thinking maybe we could lower college tuition." Sorry if that. I mean, we don't have to.
Yeah,
I just want that.
Well, most public figures tend to have that sort of.
I'm sorry. I'm messaging my wife on.
No, that's fine. Message your wife. She's watching. She's watching on the Facebook Live feed right now.
Is she?
Is that what you just said?
She just messaged me.
Oh, she just messaged you.
Someone's phone is missing at our house.
Oh, okay. By all means, send some messages. It makes for some great podcast listening. There you go. Everything okay?
Yeah. No.
It was your wife, so I didn't want to like interrupt. How long have you been married?
Like a year and a half.
How's it been going?
Good.
You enjoying married life?
It's good.
Is it any different? It's no different,
really.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, we kind of did it as a joke, but then it got like serious.
Well, yeah, those
originally we were just like on acid in this like forest in West Virginia, and I knew this guy named Zach who was like very worldly, kind of knows all these like body mind healer types.
You met him in the forest, or
no? I knew him. I met him there. Though, like he came to me.
Yeah,
we were there for like a festival thing. That was dumb, and I'm now banned from.
Well, we'll definitely get to that.
That one's good.
Yeah. Tell me
I get banned from like a festival a year, and it's usually by accident, which sucks because I normally try pretty hard at these things.
Wait. So what did you actually? Now I want to skip over the forest wedding. What?
Well, the forest wedding short version asked this guy if he was ordained as a joke, and he said yes. And then while we listened to Steely Dan in his car, he decided to marry us. And my best man was some guy I've never seen since.
Yeah.
But then we had a legal wedding later.
Did you know the best man at all, or did you meet him in West Virginia?
I knew him, but not really.
You were just like acquainted.
Like he's someone, if I was like passing through where he lives, which is Atlanta, I would say, "Hey, I'm in Atlanta," and he'd be like, "Sorry, busy."
Yeah, okay.
Or vice versa. I'd be like, "Yeah, I mean, I'm here, but not really to hang with you."
It's like an ancillary.
Hey, I'm here.
An ancillary character in your life.
But getting banned was a whole nother.
Yeah, what the fuck happened? So wait, first of all, what was the festival?
It's called Voice of the Valley.
And what is that all about?
Well, it's like a noise fest or whatever, just a bunch of hippies jerking off in the woods.
Yeah.
Not even, no, it's more like Burning Man style. I thought it was hippie style. I was like, oh, I'm going to hang with these old beardo losers and just jam for 4 days. But instead, it's like the Burning Man, like I have a nice tech job and it takes up a lot of my time. So when I can get away, I go full hippie and forget about my other life.
Right, sure.
And I have all this expensive equipment that I'm going to show you while I play for like an hour and a half. And I'm really just going to take up as much time as I can because my wallet is huge.
Right. They could comfortably be a hippie.
Exactly. Yeah. That,
so it kind of
let's
removes.
Let loose. We're free for 2 days.
Right.
Then back to Google or whatever.
Friday night. Yeah. I'm fitting a mold right now. I'm beginning to feel a little self-conscious. You've almost described what I am, minus the comfortable hippie part.
I mean,
I know
that's probably better than what I'm doing, which is just being like.
Well, everybody's got their own path. It's not for one person to say, another. I'm certainly not offended if that's.
I'm fine with that life. I mean, I definitely speak mostly from jealousy.
Yeah.
I'm mostly broke.
You okay? You want some money? You want to get some lunch after this?
I think I'm a negative 97 in the bank because I did the old overdraft and worry about it later trick.
If you start a GoFundMe, I'll contribute to it.
I'm way ahead of you.
I'll be here for you. I'm one of those Bernie socialists. I'm like, let me just give some back to the.
Yeah, I've never seen Bernie donate to a GoFundMe. What's up with that? Really?
Yeah,
he wants my vote. He needs to get truly millennial. I want to know his Kickstarter.
It'd be great if he started, right?
What did he try to invest in? I saw recently on Kickstarter it's a watch, but it just says now on it.
Yeah,
because the time is now.
Oh yeah,
and that's a real thing. They're trying to raise like 10 grand.
Just live in the moment, man.
I didn't see Bernie's name anywhere on that.
Is that like a modern version of the pet rock? Like it's clearly
yeah, I was kind of blown away.
Yeah,
it's like okay, the time is now.
Needless to say, we won't see the Now Watch on Shark Tank.
I mean, just imagine the disappointment if for some reason you need. Well, think about this: the only people who would need to ask what time it is in public and would need to like see your watch are probably people who are like very disenfranchised homeless people.
Sure.
Because otherwise, I feel like even the most broke people I know have some sort of phone or access to a phone, whatever. Yeah. So, I mean, really, it's just a watch that doesn't answer the question of a starving homeless person.
Yeah.
When you think about it, it's like, so this guy's about to die, and he's like, can you please tell me what time it is? And he's like, the time is now.
Yeah.
Live your dreams. Stop being homeless now.
Yeah. It sounds exactly like the people that were at that festival, too.
Oh, God.
They'd be wearing that watch.
Oh, there was enough, and they definitely wanted to look like the homeless guys.
What did you do to get banned from that?
Well, this was when me and my wife had basically just met.
Yeah.
And just had our weird acid wedding like 4 days into hanging out.
Yeah.
We like brought her. I was on tour with a friend of mine and just brought her with me.
Sure.
Like picked her up in Chicago and was like, let's go.
Yeah.
And we devised this whole set. She had written this whole like fan fiction crossover thing where I'm in the Harry Potter universe, but as myself.
Okay.
And I end up like fucking Harry Potter, as most fan fictions end with.
Yeah, of course.
The payoff's almost always fucking Harry Potter.
Yeah. All the fan fiction I've read of Harry Potter is you fucking Harry Potter.
Well, there you go.
You, Jonathan Cash.
Yeah, the only one.
Yeah.
No one else ever done it before. But yeah, we had this idea. What we were doing since I brought her on tour is I would have this point in my set where I would go from like the noisier stuff to kind of like a lull and just have her do like a reading of it because it was just a short little like kind of chapbook zine, like 5 or 6 pages. And we wanted to like spice that up because it wasn't just like a regular show. It was like a big outdoory festival. And
how many people? Like, what's the setup?
I mean,
was there a stage?
Shitload. There's a stage. It's not bad for being a niche genre. That's like you have to drive like 9 hours from any city that has anyone interested in it. It's okay. There's like 100 people there.
Okay, and
they charge out the ass for it for some reason. So that's especially surprising.
It's a sizable amount of people though.
For like $60 to hang out in the woods and listen to mostly just rich guys jerk off on each other.
Yeah.
But minus the sex. But we wanted to like set like as the viral memes in 2015, which is when this happened, where we wanted to burn like one of those Minion toys, like a doll of it, and like a fedora, because that was, everyone was making fun of them at the time.
Yep.
And so during that, like we did the whole reading and then lit that on fire, and I kind of resumed the set louder as these like two idols of shitty internet culture are burning.
Yeah.
Put out the fire when it's over, clean up everything, very respectful. It's all good. We leave on good terms. 2 days later, the guy in charge is like tripping really hard on something, probably acid, I would assume, because that's his style, at like 4 a.m. and writes me and is like, I would really like to know why you were burning effigies of me and my children.
What?
And I was like,
what? How did the story...
Well, apparently he owns a fedora, which, I mean, fair enough.
Sense.
I definitely was burning effigies of those like him.
Yeah. that adds
but
up.
Like his kids, like what, your kids like Despicable Me or whatever, that's fine. I don't care. I don't really want to like kill or fight your 3-year-old.
Yeah.
It's just a weird like...
It sounds like one person misinterpreted what you were doing, and then it got back to him.
And got to like he was there. I mean, he saw it. He enjoyed it.
Yeah.
He loved it.
Yeah.
He joined in on a part of it where I was covering a song and asked him to sing with me. he was all in until
and then
he just got really high and got all like
in
like Alex Jones style, but only conspiracies involving me.
Right.
So it went down. He's like, wait,
that's like extreme narcissism.
Kaiser Sose. It's Jonathan Cash burning Minion dolls because he wants to kill my children.
Where were you when you got the message? Were you still
Atlanta.
in West Virginia? Or you were in Atlanta?
Yeah, I was just chilling in Atlanta on tour, like had a day off and got all these messages.
Yeah.
I like woke up to them because he sent them at like 4 a.m., which is why I'm drawing the conclusion he was not sober.
Right, 4 a.m.
And yeah, he was just really, he went off on this whole tangent that he thought reading the fan fiction, which has like gay stuff in it, was like using homosexuality to summon like dark energy as like a black magic ritual and like setting some sort of tone or precedent that would lead to that.
Yeah.
I don't know. There was a few tiers of incorrectness, but the main thing I took from it, I mean, other than just telling the guy to fuck off, was made it very clear that he was just mostly complimenting me because he put a lot more thought into my set than I did.
Yeah, I was going to say...
I was winging it. We just picked up that doll at a Walgreens. We're like, it'd be funny if we burned this.
I mean,
as a hat at another store. I was like, let's burn that one
As
too.
an artist, I feel like this is a high compliment. The fact that you were able to arouse such emotion.
Yeah, apparently I am, really just engaging in these rituals to, burn effigies and all this shit when I'm mostly just lazy and apathetic like most fucking millennials, man.
Oh, fuck those millennials. Let me tell you something. Apathy in my day was nothing like how the millennials are putting it out there. You guys are killing it with the apathy.
I love it.
So how many, it clearly didn't sully your reputation. You still do a lot of festivals, right?
I guess so. I mean, there's a new one every year that I get kicked out of.
Oh, what was the last one you got kicked out of?
St. Pete Noise Fest in St. Petersburg, Florida.
Oh, yeah, Florida. So West Virginia and Florida, you've been kicked out of. I don't know if that's a loss.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh, what's next? Wyoming.
Yeah.
You can never come back.
The artistic hub of Boise, Idaho is next on the list here.
There was really no story to the Florida one, though. I want to act like there was, but honestly, I don't really...
You think it's a case of being a stranger in a strange land? Like you're the new guy and nobody really knows
I'd been there a bunch, and I got a really good response, and I think that was the issue, is it was this festival that was run by like two different people. Yeah. And one had kind of taken a back seat, and the second guy had come on who was a friend of his to kind of start booking and curating, while the other guy just sort of was the guy who started it and just hung out.
How many people were at that one? Same amount or more?
Somewhere around there. Nothing crazy. I mean, it was in like an art space, like 50 people kind of thing.
So these really aren't festivals as much as they're just like parties.
Just big shows that are like 2 days long or whatever.
It's billed as a festival, though, to increase
it seem more important.
Yeah,
it works for everything.
Yeah,
and
of
really
course.
just this podcast fest right now.
That's right.
Like,
yeah, I was going to say we should read
over one guest. But yeah, like
an audience of two.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Better than I get at home.
So St. Petersburg, you were kicked out.
I was like, everything went fine during the show, and this is how it always goes down. No one ever just tells me when they're mad.
Right.
They have to wait till I'm long gone, and they mull it over, and then they get pissed.
That's so weird. Why?
It's weird because I'm a pretty neutral. I don't want to say non-confrontational, because I mean I've definitely gotten in some stupid confrontations, but for the most part, if you approach me and you're like, dude, that thing yesterday kind of pissed me off, I'd be like, all right, well, let's
that was yesterday.
work through this.
Yeah.
But instead, people wait till I'm gone, and then they just like send me a message or like, don't play here anymore or whatever.
Well, yeah, you know what that is, right? That's envy.
I was going to say, in this case, that's literally what it was, because honestly, I didn't do anything crazy this time. I did kind of my standard, whatever the hell it is I do. I didn't do anything gross or messy, and everyone was like having fun. And this guy, like basically the original guy who booked the fest, kicked the other guy off who had been curating it for this past year. Yeah. Said he was taking it back over and just listed to him a list of artists he didn't want anymore, myself included. And they were basically all the artists who had really good crowd response. Yeah. And I'm just thinking maybe it's because back when he ran it and was performing at it, he didn't get as good a crowd response. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I could see banning me even just on the grounds that I have a reputation of doing stupid things, even if I didn't that time.
Like theatrics or offstage stuff?
Both.
Okay. Yeah.
Depending.
Well, you don't seem like a guy that would rouse. Are you a rabble rouser? Do you kind of stir things up?
I got drunk at one fest and like threw a speaker off the stage during someone else's set and broke it.
I mean, that'll do it.
They tried to like bill me for that, but I was just like, I'm not paying you.
Yeah, but you don't do that on a regular basis.
I don't live in Richmond, Virginia, so if you want to like kick me out, that's fine.
You don't do that on a regular basis, though, right? I mean, that was just an isolated.
Not anymore.
Yeah,
I feel like younger, I would do it. That's the thing. I had that whole, I'm leaving the millennial age thing. I was,
Yeah.
because everyone I know, I've always known people older than me.
Sure.
So it didn't hit me till recently. I was like, wait, I'm like 3 years from 30.
Yeah.
Everyone else I knew was like about that age when I met them. And, you know, you feel like you're always like the child of the scene around you. And I was
Sure.
like, man, there's a lot of new people around who are really stupid. Oh, they're all like 21.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm that guy that, you know,
You're now the
said
sage.
I was the asshole kid, you know, like now I've fucking come full circle.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Is that how you view it though, or do you really feel like you are now the sort
I
of
still kind of feel like the
in
kid.
a parental position, or do you?
I still feel like the kid, but I mean, I'm aware that I need to stop before I become the guy who's the perpetual shitty kid who just
Right.
like suddenly, you know, we're talking about this outside. A friend of mine who had kept asking me to help him book shows when he was like 30 and I'm 19.
Sure.
I could turn into that guy if I don't like make
It's possible.
that.
Yeah, you seem to have a little bit more drive though than the person you were mentioning before the show.
Yeah. I just don't want to be like, I don't have to rely on a fucking child to get through my daily activities.
You shouldn't rely on adults either; they're just as bad. But
I should just be able to do it myself. Yeah, that's my goal. Yeah.
You said you're 3 years from 30, though, right? Well, so you just speaking from experience, there is a point where you start charging into your 30s, where you begin to feel, because I have a history being on stand-up comedy and, hanging out on that scene. And there comes a point where you realize everybody is almost 10 years younger than you. And it's like, holy shit, I am now the sad old man.
Yeah, you see this new like set idea, be it comedy or music or whatever, and you're like, this is trash. Who would like this? And then you see another one, you're like, why is everyone doing this garbage?
Yep.
Then you realize you're the only one not doing that garbage.
Right.
And you're the garbage.
I'm the garbage.
It was you all along.
All of my shit is antiquated. Yeah, like I'm doing Schwarzenegger impressions.
Yeah, you're doing the Carrot Top bits.
You just got to know when to move on.
I got on a whole Carrot Top thing last night.
Well,
you really like tried to watch that like now?
No,
it's rough.
No, I haven't.
It's not good.
It's not good.
Did you see the Arsenio reboot they tried? Which did not
briefly.
really.
It didn't pan out.
It was bad.
Why would they try that? But
he had Carrot Top on circa like 2013, I guess.
Yeah.
I missed it. Arsenio fans out there, forgive me for not keeping up with him and Carrot Top.
Yeah.
But I finally got around to seeing it. And it's rough. Mm-hmm. Arsenio has no personality anymore. I don't know what happened to him. But Carrot Top,
Carrot
Top's like more out of touch.
Yeah.
Literally the first joke he makes during the interview was about how he was going to show up in blackface but changed his mind.
Yeah.
And there was like 10 levels to that joke that didn't work.
Yeah.
I was like, first of all, offensive.
Yeah.
That's not even a new thing. Blackface generally post 1920s, not the best idea.
Nah, not a good idea.
But also no one asked.
No,
like there was no lead into that joke. Like, I'm black, thanks.
Yeah, no, he just came out in the open with that.
Yeah, Carrot Top was just like really reaching for material and was like, well, this guy's black, so I'll just say I was going to wear blackface.
Yeah.
That's relatable, I guess.
The interesting thing to me about Carrot Top nowadays is, okay, even Larry the Cable Guy has an audience and he's...
Oh, Carrot Top doesn't, yeah.
Well, Carrot Top, his brand is bad comedy. Like, it's synonymous. It's like
the whole time he's doing his bits, he's like acknowledging that people don't like it.
Yeah. It's like, dude, he knows. I don't know if he's aware. I bet
he'll kill himself on stage. Like what? He's gonna do all his props, and then once it's gonna be a gun, it's like, this is a toilet seat for when your wife's mad at you.
Yeah,
this is a gun for when your set's going badly. Then just blows his brains out, and that's the last.
It's the Carrot Top massacre. Yeah,
it's the final joke.
It's Jonestown. This is my impression of Jonestown.
Carrot
Top. Crazy. Or Bud Dwyer. Have you ever seen that video? It's pretty fucked up. I don't recommend looking it up. Yeah, the Carrot Top is kind of fascinating to me. I'm wondering what his legacy will be like after he dies.
Chairman of the Board's a good movie.
I never saw it.
Maybe we should switch. I should be the host here.
Yeah, by all means.
Let me tell you about the 90s.
Yeah.
No, it's good. I mean, it's trash, but
I remember when it came out. I just never saw it.
It's a funnier amount of trash because I guess someone's wrangling Carrot Top and not letting him just only be Carrot Top.
Yeah. Well,
once he's just Carrot Top on his own, it's kind of sad.
Yeah.
It's sad when you're a celebrity who has like 30 years experience, but you run your own YouTube channel and upload the footage of you on Letterman yourself. It's a channel. It's the Carrot Top channel. Like
right.
Late night with Jimmy Fallon or whatever the fuck. They are not uploading videos of when Carrot Top's on. Well, he is.
I think like chairman of the board, I think was his attempt at advancing beyond what he did on stage. Like
it didn't work.
In the 90s, there was this weird race between him and Pauly Shore.
Oh, true.
Like,
yeah.
Like, how low can I sink?
See, I was more of a Pauly Shore.
And we all were. That's why it worked. Yeah, that's why he became who
Carrot
he became.
Top scared me when I was younger.
Yeah.
Now, also, he was on Fox News.
Who was?
Carrot Top?
Like commentator?
Yeah. He went off about how he doesn't want Bernie Sanders to redistribute his wealth.
What the fuck? What? See, he's trying to get political now.
There's some.
How,
I mean,
how seriously?
It wasn't even Fox News. It was Fox Business. It was like their business network
with Neil Cavuto.
One of those. Yeah, it was some chick, but I think she was a guest hosting. I don't know.
Okay.
It was weird though when you think of right-wing business-oriented stuff, you don't think, let's get Carrot Top on.
Let me tell you something.
You know who's really going to put the nail in this Bernie Sanders coffin? A scathing review from Carrot Top, or as his shirt says now, C-Top.
I don't think about Carrot Top, right, for anything. Like, unless I need, like...
Generally, no.
Yeah, if I need, like, a baked potato to pop out of a Jack in the Box, like, yeah, he's the guy that I'll fucking turn to. But when it comes to business affairs, like, I'll pass.
His jokes are weak, too. Like, yeah, they're weaker.
Well, he's a Vegas.
I mean, they were always bad. Yeah, that's the thing. He's gone
showman.
Full Vegas and does the same props every time.
Did you know that he ripped off his act from someone? I don't know how is that common knowledge?
I don't know. I mean, I would hope that's not, because why would you do that?
Because
why would you
desperate.
Steal crap?
Yeah,
it's like that Carlos Mencia guy. Everyone's like, he ripped off George Lopez. I'm like, wow, that's fucking garbage others. Ripping off garbage.
Yeah, well, Carrot Top, there was a guy in Philadelphia named the legendary Wid. And
sounds like trash.
Yeah, well, it's trash, but the difference is that he was aware. Like he named himself that because he knew he's not taking this seriously.
Carrot Top tries to play that he's aware, but he probably like really goes home and just like looks in the mirror and he's like, I didn't do good.
Yeah, or I hope they love me. Yeah,
yeah. Like
there's a weird
wants
yearning
to succeed.
Yeah,
that's where he fails.
Well, he succeeds. He just doesn't resonate. You know, like how often are you going to meet somebody who's like, dude, I fucking saw Carrot Top.
How long before me bringing this up was the last time someone mentioned Carrot Top to you?
You know what? You're right. I can't remember the last time.
It's been a solid 20 years for most people,
probably.
Honestly.
Yeah. Well, I run in the comedy circle. So again, he's synonymous with bad comedy. But yes, you're right. A serious discussion.
I mean, I'm not quite deep in that scene, but I feel like even then, he would not be brought up.
No, on the list of influences, he's in
that realm that's not even like funny bad. It's just like, this is not good, and I kind of don't like. It's stressing me out to watch this.
Right.
It's not like pathetically bad. It's just like,
it's not
let's
done.
Change it.
It's not done with a hint of irony. You know, like I'm trying to think of a comedian or anybody who's come back around after having a serious career of like questionably cheesy material.
He seems aggressive too. If you really look at his eyes on older specials, like there's one where he like puts his hair in like pigtails and like, who am I?
Yeah.
And the joke's supposed to be Wendy's, and someone says like, Pippi Longstockings or whatever, and he's like, no, and gives him like a strong like stern stare, and I'm like, man, the worst thing about Carrot Top is he probably beats his girlfriends.
Yeah.
His stand-up sucks, but also he's probably really abusive.
He's probably an asshole, yeah.
I mean, look at his stand-up.
Yeah. Look at his stand-up.
That's wife-beater material.
Well, and the level of success he has risen to, it almost lends itself to him being a bad person. He probably looks at guys like Ray Romano and is just like, I could have had it. I could have had it all.
Yeah, that D tier to the he's like the B list to the D list. Like,
right, yeah.
Second tier of the last tier.
That's so funny. If Carrot Top showed up to like a movie premiere or like to something important.
Would anyone know?
Yeah, like what would be the treatment? Like
that's what I mean, I would be stoked to be like, hey, it's you.
Well, and just
remember you.
Just to bring this back around, wouldn't it be interesting if he stopped doing all the Vegas stuff and did and returned to like try to reconnect with like the ironic audience?
That would be good. I mean, that's I'm trying to think. I feel like there's some people who have done. I feel like Pauly Shore, to a smaller extent, did attempt that.
Yeah.
I mean, when he did that whole staging.
I think Weird Al did it pretty successfully. Not that he's a bad figure.
That's one of my, as the millennials put it, that's one of my triggers.
Oh, is that right? What is it triggering?
Nothing. I just hate Weird Al. It's one of those things where it's like, even as a kid, I got it, but I have a couple friends who really like still like Weird Al as like a relevant, like, let's listen to remember Weird Al, and it's like, but it's not done with an ironic wink or a nod or anything. Really, no. It's not like, man, this isn't that funny. Let's listen to it anyway. Like, no, it doesn't start that way. It's just like, dude, Weird Al.
Oh wow, maybe I'm really out of touch, because I've always been under the impression that Weird Al rose to amazing fame and stardom because he was doing something funny at the time, and then after a while, everyone was just like, okay,
I thought he was dead for a while,
but now he's
because of that King of the Hill bit, where they acknowledge him as dead.
Do they?
They say, I think it's King of the Hill. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. But they like mention him being dead.
Get our research team on that.
Please.
They mention that he's dead on King of the Hill.
Like,
what
I
do you
feel like
remember?
Hank's talking to Bobby, and he's like, "You'll end up dead like Weird Al Yankovic, dying alone with no friends." Some kind of joke like that.
Just like
And I was like 10 when I saw that episode, so I really didn't understand that the joke is he's not dead.
Right. Yeah. Well,
I was just like, wow, I didn't know that he's dead.
That's actually a great meta joke right there.
Well, it's slightly pre-internet a little bit, or at least
Yeah.
dial-up age that I saw that. So.
Yeah. Are you a big King of the Hill fan?
Oh, definitely.
It's a great show.
I feel like of the cheesy Southern stereotypes portrayed on TV, it's the closest to reality.
Yeah.
I don't care too much, but it's just like a played out joke otherwise to do the really over the top, like, yeehaw, I'm from Texas.
Sure,
like,
the cowboy
no
thing.
one's like that.
No.
If anything, Texas is mostly dull, and that's the problem. Like, if we had some stupid cowboy redneck shit kickers, it'd probably be more fun, but we don't have anything.
Yeah.
Mostly just flatlands and pretty average, like, suburbanites.
Yeah.
Honestly.
King of the Hill.
Yeah, that's the thing. They're like slightly southern, but they're mostly just kind of dull suburban people who are a little religious, but not that much.
Not very cultured.
A little safe, but not really like too safe. Like they're just kind of boring, middle of the road people.
And Hank is so by the book that when when it strays far from the page,
I would say he's
upset.
probably the least relatable character because he's by the book in a very strict way that, to my upbringing at least, wasn't accurate.
Well, and I think that might be the joke, is that the person
like
who's
over the top.
the person who's supposed to relate to Hank Hill is who the joke is being played on. You know, when I first started watching that show, I had no idea that it was a satire.
Well, the best thing is, like, I mean, I really think the Dale Gribble character is weirdly actually kind of common in Texas, and that's the one that you would on paper say is the most like ridiculous.
Abstract.
Like, no one like. But no, I mean, we're in Alex Jones country.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Dale Gribbles, especially because Alex Jones knows how to market to like the poor.
Yeah.
That's specifically his strategy.
Of
Always
course.
has been.
That's specifically the right strategy.
Exactly. Yeah. When he started doing the
right-wing strategy.
he started doing like the printed InfoWars, which I think he already stopped, but he did like a free printed InfoWars a couple years ago. And I was living in Far East Austin in a real cheap part of town. And that's where they'd be.
Yeah. Is that where
I wouldn't go downtown and find like a copy of InfoWars at like some nice grocery store, like Whole Foods. No, I'd find it at like Arlen's.
Yeah. Or like in Bastrop or something like that.
Yeah. It's like he just finds the poorest people, gives them a shadow entity to point at and get mad at.
Look,
and takes advantage of them.
If you've got the ability to empower poor people with a frame of mind that makes them feel like they are in power, then, you're on the road, work for Christianity.
It's true.
Yeah. Not to get all controversial here. Yeah. Really
talk about that on Facebook Live. Keep it safe here.
Yeah, it's cool in my feed. Where in Texas did you grow up?
Houston. Specifically like east end of Houston, like getting a little closer to like that kind of suburban, going towards like Viter.
Were you in the suburbs or
not quite? Well, I moved a lot. I was definitely in one of those like single parent moving from neighborhood to neighborhood. Like I don't think I ever stayed in the same school district longer than like a year or two.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, I have no like old school friends from school. Everyone I knew for like 2 years tops.
Wow. Yeah.
But yeah, mostly like East Texas, Houston area.
Yeah.
I lived downtown for a bit as like a teen before I kind of like left home, but mostly suburban bullshit.
Yeah. Because earlier in the conversation, you referred to yourself as good white trash. And I'm just kind of curious, like, what is that all about?
I mean, I wouldn't say I even come from the hugest white trash upbringing. It's more just like my family wants to be.
Okay.
I feel like I've got one of those like neoliberal, pseudo-progressive type families that are definitely Southern, but not that Southern, and they would just want to like, I feel like the neoliberal thing is they want to please everybody in a really weak way, that very like pandering, like Clinton-esque, whatever.
Yeah, is there an example that you could think of when you were growing up?
My mom, a good example was my mom just like is the type of person who would change her way of speaking based on who she's talking to, and it's like my grandmother would call and she'd be like, oh, hey, how are you doing? It's like, oh, now you're this old Southern belle or whatever. Like, but then like, like she would talk to like a friend of hers who'd be black, and she would be like, what's up, girl? Oh, yeah. And I'm like, and in her head, she's like, I'm trying to relate because I'm not racist.
Right.
The reality is like you're actually
racist.
Thinking all black people use a certain type of way of speaking that you don't, which is I mean, every time I'd hear someone on the phone, they just sounded really stiff, and they're like, hi.
Yeah, well, you got to let people be who they are.
I had to give her that whole talk when I moved to Austin, and I moved in with this like Peruvian gay couple that ran a restaurant together, and she was like, oh, it must be really well decorated. And I was like, Mom, I don't think you understand that that's actually not cool.
Yeah.
Like that assumption. She's like, but it's a good one. I'm like,
did she ask if there were a lot of like baskets on the wall and mosaics and stuff? Like,
she didn't get into too deep of details. There were though. That was the funny thing.
They've got a donkey in the back, don't they?
There's nothing worse than trying to disprove a stereotype while you're literally just like seeing it go down, because there were a fair amount of nice baskets and decorations.
Sure, yeah.
It was both very gay and very Peruvian in there.
Yeah.
I still had to explain to her that she didn't know that, so she didn't need to say that.
Hey, look, I'm a Jew, and I'm not, sitting here saying that I never complain about things. Stereotypes exist.
I'm a white guy from Texas wearing a Kid Rock shirt right now.
Hell yeah, no.
I'm living the dream of stereotypes. You know where I got this? Walmart.
Hell yeah. Did you steal it during your shift?
No, it was $5.
Good for you,
It was on
man.
sale.
You're wearing it well, I gotta say.
I paid for it. That's the darkest part.
Yeah.
You would think shoplifting Kid Rock is pretty like low,
yeah.
But paying for Kid Rock
even lower,
I think is lower.
Yeah. I mean, because you're lining his pocket now.
Exactly. Lining Walmart, all the evil corporate entities, all that bullshit.
You're not even a Kid Rock fan, are you? Or is there something about,
I would say in the, deepest ironic bullshit sense.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna, no.
Everything,
that cowboy song, pretty sick.
Yeah.
Because just the whole progression of that song makes no sense to me. Like when he's got that like auto wah, like envelope filter on his voice, and it doesn't sound like anything.
Yeah.
But I mean, once he turned into like a right wing country guy, I was like, there's enough of these. I don't need another one.
That was kind of weird how that happened.
The novelty of being like a guy in a pimp hat with like a little like short man baby thing rapping behind him was sick.
That's almost more offensive than saying midget, what you just said.
Well, I mean,
man baby thing.
I thought he had like a Benjamin Button disorder.
Right.
I didn't know.
He started out.
I don't think
6'1".
he was like exactly Joe C, dude.
That's it, man.
Joe C.
Love that Joe C. Yeah, no,
yeah, that's not like.
No, he had
midget, quote unquote.
No, he had he had that Gary Coleman thing where he never aged.
This is like man boy child thing.
Joe C.
Whatever. Yeah.
America's hype man, that Joe C.
Really? That's how we ended up where we are now. His death. Now look what happened.
Yeah. You think him and Mini-Me ever like really like had it out?
Oh, dude, Vern Troyer is sick.
Yeah.
Love that guy.
He should have
him on The Surreal Life.
Yeah.
Probably the only reality TV moment that stuck with me.
When he peed in the corner, right?
Yeah. I mean, you don't get much better than that. Like,
no, it's
if you're gonna sink low enough to like take in trash, I mean, you're gonna get like, I mean, it's like going, if you don't want to see Vern Troyer pissing in the corner on The Surreal Life, like why? That's like going to McDonald's being like, I'm gonna get the salad with all the chicken in it or whatever.
I completely
agree. Just go all in, get your shitty burger and enjoy yourself. Watch Vern Troyer just nude pissing because he's like clearly mentally unstable in a way that has nothing to do with his height.
Yeah.
And I really feel like they pin that on his height as being the root of his issues, but they're much deeper, obviously.
Sure.
His height is like the least of his problems.
There was no reason to watch The Surreal Life except to wait for something like that.
Well, there was the one with the Smash Mouth guy on it, which was only good because like it wasn't good at the time. I didn't care, but obviously in the age of fucking post-ironic whatever, seeing the Smash Mouth guy on a TV show is just good.
Yeah,
especially because it shines a light. Because what's her face? There was like the trans actress from back then. He was real big.
RuPaul.
No,
that's the only one I got. Is there another one?
Patricia Arquette. Yeah,
Patricia Arquette.
One of them. One of the Arquettes. The Arquette that was transgendered.
Oh, I didn't even know that there was one that was trans.
I don't know. I mean, to me,
bit of an education
because I forgot about her.
It's
like she's dead.
You've got a bit of a. I'm sensing a bit of a fascination with like quote unquote trashy '90s pop culture.
I mean, yeah, I was poor and couldn't afford any cable, so I saw all that stuff like a half step late. So yeah, that was all I had to watch.
I just saw Real Big Fish in concert. Do they qualify?
I heard they came through. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I mean, that was.
Did they do? Wait, what was their one?
Sellout.
Oh, okay, the other one, Boss Tones, is the one that did the Knock on Wood.
That's right.
Whatever. Same difference, really controversial statement.
Very controversial.
All pop ska bands look and sound alike to me.
But the thing about that show, or the thing about that band, well, first of all, I went just because a friend of mine was going. offered, an opportunity
that's
to
how
go
I got dragged to ICP by these two.
Yeah, I mean, you go and see shit like that because it's like, sure, why not? Yeah, I'm not doing anything. So I go, and as I'm watching the show, it begins to dawn on me, like, yeah, these guys are in on the joke. Like they're not taking themselves seriously.
That's when it sucks, though.
Well, it didn't suck because they were still giving a show. It wasn't like they weren't self-deprecating.
Yeah, but it's like that era of like self-deprecating, like B-movie horror, like Ginger Dead Man or whatever, and it's like, this is crap. These guys know this sucks. I don't want that.
But I look, the alternative was they took themselves too seriously, and I feel like
that's
that would
what I want. I mean, it's bad for them.
Yeah,
I want to exploit them. And
you want to see the train
That's their problem.
Well, you'd be happy to hear that they covered that Knock on Wood song at the end, and it was kind of funny. Yeah.
Did anyone know it was a cover? They're like, oh, I love this song.
Well, no, they introduced it. They said, they played through an entire album. The album with Sellout, they played it in its entirety, and then at the end they were like, oh, we can't believe we forgot to play one song. We forgot a song, and everybody's like, because everyone else there was real fans, and they were like, huh? No, you played the whole album. And then
Knock on Wood,
and then all of a sudden,
that's a good idea. All right, well, that's a level of self-aware I can get down with.
Yeah, I mean, come on, you gotta.
But when it's like,
what else is
when you're really pushing it, when you start just releasing content that's like self-parody.
Well, that's like Flava Flav, just to bring it back to the VH1 shit. Like, you're too self-aware.
I mean, most of those, VH1 guys. VH1 definitely started this trend of like, we know we're 90s trash, let's just keep it rolling. And it's like, it's not the same now.
No, now it's like, now you're doing it.
And you feel good about it. It's like, I don't know.
It's only good when you believe in it.
It's like being like, I don't know, it's like if you were to like talk down to someone, but then you found out they're like super into like submissive shit, and it's like, wait, I'm just giving this guy like an erection by telling him how stupid and gross he is.
Yeah,
I don't want that. I don't want the 90s trash to get erections. I want them to be bummed out.
What a journey that you took just there from point A to point B.
In my head, it worked better, and I started saying it out loud. And
that was great. I loved it. What did you see Corey Feldman on the Today Show?
A little bit of it, yeah.
You know what happened there?
I feel like that's another, he's like half self-aware, which I appreciate, but also, because I mean, he's clearly trying to be a little funny, but he also could not handle the criticism of his attempt.
Sure.
So that part,
was there backlash? I thought he was cool with everything.
No.
Oh, he wasn't?
He was definitely kind of like offended that people were like laughing at him, and I'm like, I thought you wanted to be like, right. That's what you wanted.
I think there was an odd, here's the thing, I'm just speaking for myself, I think there was an odd percentage of the population that was also celebrating what he did. Like, it was,
I loved it.
I loved it. It was.
I was
weird.
only bummed out when I found out he like took it personally when people were
of course
anti that. I was like, really, grow up.
But I watch it and I'm just like, yo, Corey Feldman's just doing his thing. Yeah, just fucking let him do it on the Today Show.
I would book him. Yeah, if I could get him out here for cheap.
He's doing the show next week. Come back. He's not doing much.
The classic millennial, Corey Feldman. I guess in that case, he'd be interviewing you, like switch roles.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to be interviewed by Corey Feldman. What are some of the shows that you've been to recently, or who do you like to go see live when you can?
I don't like to leave anymore at all. Ever? I think this is part of that 27 inch into 30 realization. It's like, I don't have to go out anymore. No. In fact, maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should just hole up for as long as possible.
You know you're not missing anything.
I mean, I just go to, friends' shows occasionally. Usually I'm guilty of being that guy who's like, am I on the bill? I might not go.
Yeah, sure.
But, anything in my little noise kid social circle. I mean, I'll see this guy, Mr. Ethan over here play. Yeah. But otherwise, I mean, I did go to see Slipknot and Marilyn Manson a while back. That was pretty funny. Yeah. That was definitely like half irony, half like, I should do this. Because I didn't when I was a teenager. Because I was too poor for that when it was cool or whatever.
That's one of those shows where it's like, why wouldn't I go see this?
I missed I was tempted for like my thing is a lot of times things that are very like internet funny whatever shit will come through, and I kind of want to be in that ironic like, let's go see Rick Astley at Emos, which happened recently.
That happened last night.
But then I realized everyone there is thinking the same thing, and I don't want to see those people.
Right. Yeah.
I want to only be around like unironic fans of these things and kind of soak that in. Like that's why, oddly enough, the ICP show was good. Yeah, there weren't that many people there who seemed like they were laughing at it.
Right, they were into it.
So I felt like a little more like cultural anthropology rather than just like everyone's in on my joke.
Beautifully put.
Like, I don't want everyone to be on the same joke. It's not funny. Then there's no irony anymore. It's like we are just the new fans.
You just explained why I went to Real Big Fish.
There you go.
It's exactly why.
I knew Rick Astley would be like an all like teenagery meme kind of crowd.
Oh, and how many times do you think he played that fucking...
It would actually be community college
song.
age.
Yeah.
That's I've have the scale of how you know when something's not cool.
Yeah.
So it starts with like a cool like mid-20s guy comes up with an idea, then like college students, like college students get into it, then teenagers, then kids, then like moms and shit get into their kids' humor, and that's usually the cutoff point. But then you wait like 6 months and you hear a guy at a community college talking about how cool this new dubstep is, and that's when you know it's just out. It's like when it reaches community college, that's the last frontier. That's like the lowest tier. Because hear someone
moms before community college.
Well, so to hear someone talking about anything at community college implies they're hanging out there. Which you got to think, what's more lonely than being like, I'm just going to chill at community college. It's like high school, but dumber. It's high school I can leave, but I decided to stay. I want to just chill out in the break room at community college and talk about this new hot act called Skrillex I just found out about. I think that's the lowest common denominator. If community college kids like it,
that's it. You're done.
I'm not trying to be that cool, but I got to draw a line somewhere. And like community college kids are like Nazis. If either of those groups are into something, I'm out.
That's it. You're done. the voice of community college is not shouting out to you. No. It's funny that you put moms before them. I always think, see, here's where I'm at right now, because I mentioned I'm 37. I feel like if I'm catching wind of something now,
it's just too
probably
late.
It's probably not cool anymore, because if the channels that are catering to me are the ones that are finding this shit out after all the ones that
well, the issue for me is like, this is a weird thing. If you want to get into an age gap, like what it's like to be a millennial talk, like everything that was a big joke to me as a teenager is now like our main like mainstream media content, like memes and all that. I mean, the Pepe the Frog being like a Nazi symbol that Hillary Clinton talked about. That's a world I didn't expect to happen.
Once advertising catches on to what young people like, then it becomes you're now.
Well, this is beyond that. Even this isn't like you're being pandered to by advertising. I mean, I'm pretty sure you could argue 4chan elected our president. That's dark.
You think?
They should not be able to. I remember an age on 4chan where people were just like going on to like Habbo Hotel to close the pool off on this like virtual reality game, and now those people elected our president.
What? How you figure?
I mean, look at the internet. I mean, look who's talking about it. Look who the type of people that are behind like all the little subreddits and all that sort of bullshit. I mean, I'm kind of being a little. I'm joking a little. I'm over exaggerating.
No, but
the sad fact is he got elected because there's just a lot of like awful white trash in America.
Well, I think
the big reveal. Let me lift the curtain here. No, we suck. But on top of that,
the states that made the difference, I think, were the ones that were so easily swayed. I don't doubt that 4chan. And
there's definitely, as far as the youth aspect of it is definitely. I mean, the alt-right itself and all the Richard Spencer stuff, those are like 4chan kids. They all were just kind of joking. Honestly, I don't feel any pity for Richard Spencer getting punched. At all, but I will say I definitely feel the minor bit of pity that I think he didn't expect to end up where he is right now.
Probably not.
I think it was just like a long running 4chan joke. Like, God, what if I like start calling this thing alt right? Wouldn't that be funny? Oh man, what if I just say like Heil Trump? That'd be silly, right? And then it just kept going, and now he runs a white nationalist organization, and he's just like, how did I get here?
So 4chan is they're bread and his butter.
Exactly, and it's just all like I legit believe it started as some sort of joke that he just like can't turn off now. It's like no, it's too late. There's no turning back.
That's what I think that whole campaign was. Richard Spencer aside, I think the whole Trump thing.
Honestly, I mean, I feel a little to blame. I feel like people like me, and I'm sure like probably most people I know, like joking about Trump's presidency is why he exists.
Do you think his presidency will be the end of apathy and irony with younger generations?
I mean, there's definitely a moment of feeling like it's my fault and like making me want to end that. Like I definitely feel the most politically inclined I've ever been because I definitely don't think I think it's being wishful thinking to think that there's just like an evil racist power that put him into power and voted for him. Like the reality of it is what got him in the position he's in is just people kind of not taking it serious and joking about it and having a lot of apathy. I mean, I still think apathy and like I feel like absurdity is inherent to apathy and humor. I feel like those still have a place, but being so neutral that he can just walk all over you might have not been a good call.
It's okay. It's okay in the context of humor, but when it leaks into real life shit,
when it's
now
just like, oh, we're just kidding around. Also, all brown people are banned forever.
Yeah, it's
like, then you fucked up. Then maybe you should just like said a thing or two about I don't know.
I will admit it's very surreal to log on to Facebook and a year and a half ago it was nothing but did you see Rihanna's video? Did you see Beyonce's hair?
Facebook's to blame for this.
Now it's all
Facebook algorithms are why he's president.
Well, yeah,
because Facebook algorithms only show you what you want to see, basically.
Right. The chamber.
And it was easy to joke about Trump because, as far as I knew, people wouldn't shut the fuck up about Bernie Sanders.
Mm-hmm.
Then I realized, wait, no one cares about Bernie Sanders. Most of these people love Trump.
Yeah,
Facebook put me in a bubble.
I'm guilty of putting out the Bernie Sanders vibe, but I mean,
I would love that over our current.
A lot of people would. Hey, look, I voted for Hillary. I say it out loud.
I'm an apathetic voter who didn't vote at all, which I could be even bigger part of the problem depending on how you spend that. But
you're in a red state, so it might not have that much of an impact.
There's only so much I could do other than move.
Yeah, but, I thought about not voting too, but the Jewish guilt in me would not let me live that down. So
I should have. I just not. The thing is, when I turned 18, I wanted to go full adult. Mm-hmm. I took that way serious. I think mostly just because I was like a runaway as a kid. Yeah. So like the adult part of my life started before I could actually do adult things. Yeah. So once I hit 18, I was like, I gotta like buy a scratch off and a pack of smokes and go vote.
Yeah.
And so I registered and they just botched my registration somehow. And I got a letter in the mail 6 months after the election. This is the first Obama election.
Oh, weird.
Letting me know that my vote wasn't counted because I missed a phone call apparently or something.
Wow.
So that level of like bureaucracy, like voiding my vote and then not telling me 6 months later definitely makes you feel a little disenfranchised, disenchanted with it all.
A similar issue when I was living in New York. That's where I'm from. Lived there my whole life. The year of Hurricane Sandy was the year of a mayoral election, and I remember all the precincts were everything was just so jumbled and messed up. So they basically the government said, go and vote wherever there's a booth and your vote will count. And I went ahead and did that. And next thing I know, I got a similar letter. Yeah. It was like your vote was negated.
That too. There was two tiers of that issue because my vote wasn't counted because I wasn't technically registered apparently. Yeah. Even though I filled out every piece of paper I could for it. And on top of that, I was apparently at the wrong polling place that was a mile from my apartment. Yeah. Apparently, I had to go a mile the other way.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
And it wouldn't have mattered either way. So, I mean, no matter what, it's just like really hard for me to vote.
Well, and this is what people in the position of power want. They want to make it difficult for the people.
They specifically don't want me to vote because my vote sucked. I did a write-in.
Well, they won. They won that election.
I just did a write-in for this dude I knew who was like, I met this guy at a gas station who turned out to be a pedophile.
Jesus
And I was like, what if I put this guy's name in? I put in his nickname, too. His name was Adam Fastway. Yeah. Because he worked at a Fastway gas station.
We're going to bleep out the last name there.
That's not his real last name. That's a nickname.
Oh, okay. Well, a little bit of a running gag.
I used to see him at the convenience store by my house when I briefly lived in New Braunfels, Texas. Yeah. And I would just shoot the shit with him because he was like the night shift guy and I was bored. And
it's always the night shift guys, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's the people they don't want anyone to see.
Right, exactly.
And I mean, he was always weird. He liked similar music to me at the time. I was young. He liked like metal or some shit. Yeah. So we talk about that a lot. And then just one day someone was like, do you know that guy? Have you ever like looked him up? And long story short, aggravated assault of basically a toddler when he was 14. Yeah. So that left me with all sorts of feelings. So I was like, he did this when he was younger than me. Yeah. But I mean, part of you inherently wants to be like, well, this was a kid, like, can I hold a child's actions to an adult or vice versa? But then I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, I think when you're 14,
that's an extreme action regardless.
You know not to hit a toddler. I mean, they didn't write that into King of the Hill, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, there was no child sexual assault episode of King of the Hill. That's the one thing they were missing.
Yeah. So wait, when did you write this guy's name in? Was this this last presidential
2008.
Election? Oh, 2008.
Yeah, that's the only time I tried to vote, and they said I couldn't. And I was
all right. Well,
really bummed. bummed because I think he would have won.
Yeah.
I think he had a chance.
I think he did too. What was it again? Adam Fastway?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, if we vote for Trump now, he probably really did have a chance.
I'm sure.
If he would have just got on social media against his parole officer's orders, he'd be famous right now.
So the noise community and the noise shows, do you have anything coming up or anything to speak to that? Or how'd you get involved in that? You just started
into it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It's just music I found, you getting into the millennial versus blah, 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 whatever conversation. I mean, having the internet at your disposal obviously advances the process way faster than you're used to. And I don't know. I had family that were kind of like, my mom was into like hair metal and crap. Yeah. So I feel like I had a foothold on like quote unquote cool music way earlier than people. Like, I mean, I'm pretty sure I owned like Metallica Ride the Lightning or some shit when I was like 8 or 9 on CD or tape even. Yeah. And so by the time I was a teenager, I was just, SoulSeek, Google, whatever service to search for music there was, blog spots, trying to find everything I could, and eventually ran into like noise and other weird things of that sort. So it just clicked with me. It's more or less, I mean, obviously I boned up on it as much as I could leading up to this interview, but it seems very heavily influenced by that Lou Reed album, right? Metal Machine Music. Do you guys get that a lot? Oh, I hate that one. I hate getting that one. No, I mean, you could argue
there's a truth behind that, right? No, I mean,
I don't think it is. I mean, it's influenced. I feel like most of the stuff I like, at least, is influenced by like earlier Japanese like experimental music, which was definitely like less concerned with Lou Reed or whatever. But I mean, that album in particular is a weird like moment in history that came way before. I mean, but surely era,
you could see why people make the similarity.
Well, that era is honestly, I wish they made that comparison more, not just to Lou Reed, but in general. It's weird to grow up hearing about, you say, like fucking Jimi Hendrix playing like a guitar solo that ends in like 10 minutes of feedback and him just like lighting it on fire or whatever, and hear how cool that is, and then basically do the audio equivalent of that and have those same people be like, what? Yeah. And it's like, what? It's just, noise is just like an infinite sound guitar solo. I mean, and not literally, it doesn't have to be made with guitar. Usually guitar is not.
It's the last thing on the list. Yeah.
But I mean, it's like, I don't know, when people don't get it or really dislike it, it kind of blows my mind. Because I'm like, so what, you don't like choruses or guitar solos? Like, it's just really taking the money shot and putting it at the forefront.
Yeah, I mean, I love it. I told Ethan I was really enjoying it. It seemed very...
I think it's fun.
I think it's fun, but...
I mean, people don't even have to like it, like listen to it a ton. I just think people don't even wrap their heads around the concept of it. Yeah. I mean, it's at least fun, I think.
I appreciate it. Well, first of all, to speak to the internet thing, it's so rare to find a sort of, for lack of a better term, a subterranean culture. There's no more underground anymore. I grew up with an underground. There were things that were just not available to the mainstream, and therefore you knew who wasn't taking part.
There still was a lot of like movements and different artists I knew that just faded into obscurity really fast, even with the aid of, file sharing and stuff like that. But there definitely felt like less pride in knowing about that at the time, so I was like, well, anyone could know about this.
Yeah, well, I guess what I was trying to say was that it fascinates me because it seems to only encompass a select membership, so to speak. And I really enjoyed it because my reasons are that I enjoy disruptive, chaotic things.
Well, exactly. That's what I always... It bummed me out as a teen.
It seems rebellious. It seems disruptive.
It bummed me out as a teen because I was into all the punk and metal shows, all the rebellious things you'd be into when you're like 13. Then I discovered things like noise, and to me, I was like, logical next step.
Yeah, you're home.
It's like, let's just push the disruptive, chaos, whatever, further. Yeah. And I would show it to all my cool punk friends and just get kind of like or this is stupid. Yeah. I'm like, how do you... That's how you know. I'm not asking you to sit here and listen to an hour of feedback or whatever with me. That's, you don't have to do that. You don't have to go that deep. But I mean, to at least not understand the concept, to me, I think it's a concept that more people should get. It's simple.
Now, is it that people more, okay, is it about attending the show, or is it about, because I listen to it at home on my laptop while I was doing work.
A lot of people would say the live show aspect's better, but...
Yeah, it can go either way.
I don't know. I hate human interaction, despite being someone who books shows like semi for a living.
Well, you are an artist.
Right. I mean, it depends. I think it's two different genres entirely at that point.
Yeah.
Well, performance in a genre that's primarily improvised and doesn't have like a traditional song structure is so far removed from listening.
Yeah.
I mean, they go hand in hand if you're like really into it, but I feel like you can like one or the other. Because I'll definitely meet people in like the noise scene or whatever, quote unquote, who will try to out someone being like, oh, this guy doesn't even listen to noise. He just like comes to some of the shows. I'm like, so
well, what's the difference?
Yeah, that's fine.
Still,
like, I can live with that.
Terms,
like, well, it's usually rooted in some dumb misogyny things. It's usually women people say that about. And they're like, oh, but that bitch doesn't even listen to noise. I'm like, I don't really care.
I guess some things don't change in music scenes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like that's something that's carried over.
That kind of.
Well, I get that one a lot too. It's a hot topic, at least among younger, experimental, whatever kind of niche communities, to say that noise is inherently a very misogynist, kind of bigoted genre. And I'm like, have you been to a punk show?
Yeah.
Have you ever been to like a techno night somewhere?
Yeah.
Tell me how many dudes with big wallets and turtlenecks that are white as fuck, like drugging girls' drinks are there. And then tell me my show with like 10 awkward boys at it is really that big of a like social phenomenon that you need to crush.
I like your description of the bro, the turtleneck and big wallet. Yeah.
Well, turtleneck if only for techno shows. I've seen a lot of turtlenecks. It's fashionable, I guess. It's that like turning yourself into a disembodied head look that everyone's so keen on.
So
I mean, if you have a problem with dudes at shows and then you're into punk, like you're already missing the point.
Yeah.
Like, that is the dudiest, broiest shit. You need to stop that first.
What can we look forward to in the near future? Can we see you at a festival getting kicked out, or is there an album?
Only my own.
Well, I know we know you're online, but
March 6th at the Volstead. I'm doing a show. Ethan Body Tape here is DJing, and different friends of mine are playing from around the country.
And how do you bill yourself? Do you bill yourself as Breakdancing Ronald Reagan?
Volstead on March 6th, I'll be playing as Meme Girls, which is me and my wife's like duo. Next Breakdancing Ronald Reagan thing is March 18th, and it's at my house, so you'll just have to find me on Facebook and hit me up for that one.
Yeah, add Jonathan Cash on Facebook.
Yeah, please go ahead. I haven't hit the friend cap yet.
Yeah,
I don't know how you
the
do
listeners
that.
for this podcast has reached well into the tens.
Oh, good. Yeah,
so
I've got room for like 1,800 before I hit the friend cap. So as long as only half of you guys add me.
We're going to keep hammering it away. And we could find your stuff online too, right? You have a YouTube channel?
Yeah, I've got a YouTube just under my name, Jonathan Cash. I don't know.
Jonathan Cash. Really it's a hard search. It's not a very searchable name.
It's a thing, but I didn't want to have like I can't come up with usernames very well. I'm bad at that. I'm glad we're in an era where you can click sign in with Google and just like
that's it.
Subvert that. Like, what do I want to be called? Like Baby Boy 420 or like I can't decide. Like I'm not good at that. I don't have enough names thought up.
Well, I still endorse Jonathan and the blah blah blahs if you ever decide to go in that direction.
At Gmail.
Jonathan, Johnny, BRR. I don't know what to address you as. I want to thank you for coming by. I know you were getting over a little illness, but you sound like you're fine. You're healthy.
I'm just being a baby.
Yeah.
I've got a roommate who's like a hypochondriac. So
oh, really?
He gets
That's
sick.
A lot of fun.
He gets sick and just kind of, I think, psyching me out at this point after hearing how sick he is for like 8 months.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, maybe I'm really sick.
Yeah.
Fuck, I'm dying. Guys, I have to go to the hospital. I'm starting to turn into him. I got to be careful.
Well, I'm glad to see you're on your feet and avoiding the hypochondriacs. Thank you for doing the show. If you enjoyed this show, please spin by. First of all, we're part of the Body Tape International Podcast Network. Spin by bodytapeintl.com to sample more of this fine programming. And if you were into this show, drop us a line at ryanhasapodcast@gmail.com. This was a fantastic, almost epic episode, I would say. We've gone on. How long have we gone on for here?
Long.
Hour 15.
Jesus.
Yeah, Jesus Christ! I got to take a whiz.
I had like 4 energy drinks to get ready.
Listen to Jonathan Cash's music online and check out some.